Sexual harassment happens in every industry and in every type of occupation. The cost of sexual harassment goes beyond figures that can be recorded in a profit and loss statement. People who are sexually harassed often experience severe stress and loss of self-esteem. Teams become ineffective. Work relationships can be destroyed. A sexual harassment incident can be one of the most destructive forces a work unit can experience. Before you can prevent sexual harassment, you first have to understand what it is. So let's start with a definition. Sexual harassment is any unwelcome sexual conduct that interferes with a person's work performance or creates a hostile, intimidating, or offensive working environment. Examples of conduct that can be considered sexual harassment are unwelcome sexual propositions, graphic comments about a person's body, sexually suggestive objects or pictures in the workplace. This includes suggestive or graphic emails, jokes, and websites. Sexually degrading or explicit words to describe a person. Negative or explicit statements about a sexual relationship, whether or not it actually took place. Unwelcome touching, patting, pinching, or staring. And negative or explicit gender-based humor. Any of these types of behaviors, if they're unwelcome or repeated, are improper and could lead to legal action under both state and federal law. And what laws prohibit sexual harassment? Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination based on race, color, sex, religion, or national origin. The Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, also prohibits discrimination based on sex. And most states have laws that prohibit discrimination and harassment. Companies can be held liable for the actions of their supervisors, so it's critical that you understand sexual harassment and how to prevent it. Prevention is key to eliminating sexual harassment in the workplace. You can help by communicating sexual harassment information to employees. Other things you should do include recognize situations that could lead to charges of sexual harassment or that could create a hostile work environment. Learn how to prevent those situations from occurring and know when to get involved to deal with situations when they do occur. It's also important that you understand and follow your company's sexual harassment policy. Doing so can take the guesswork out of handling an incident. If an employee tells you about an incident or situation that might be sexual harassment, let that person know that he or she is safe from retaliation. It's time to put your supervisory knowledge to the test. Can you spot a situation that might be considered sexual harassment? Are you able to respond correctly? For the next few minutes, we're going to show you scenarios dealing with sexual harassment. After each one, we'll ask you to write down how you think the supervisor should respond. Ready? Then let's get started. In our first scenario, two employees are talking to each other.
How are things going, Cheryl?
Oh, pretty well. I should have things wrapped up in a couple of hours.
Oh, good. Then you'll be able to go to the game with us tomorrow.
I hope so, as long as I can get these orders finished by tonight.
That's great. Boy, Cheryl, you really have been putting a lot of time in on these orders.
Thanks, Dave. It's good to hear someone appreciates me.
I appreciate you. In fact, I think you deserve a big pat on the back.
Don't do that, Dave.
What? It's just a back rub. I'm just trying to make you feel better.
I told you I don't feel comfortable with you doing that.
It's time for you to decide. Question 1. Is Dave's behavior sexual harassment? Yes or no? In our next scenario, an employee is talking with their supervisor.
I got your call. What seems to be the problem?
It's Gary. He's up to his usual stuff again.
Yeah, what's he doing?
Every time I walk by, he either whistles at me or looks me up and down. Then he makes that disgusting smacking sound with his lips. It's so annoying. Sometimes he makes suggestive comments.
So, how do you react?
I try to ignore him, but I can't. He makes me really feel uncomfortable and annoyed. I'm tired of it. I don't want to file a sexual harassment complaint. I just want it to stop.
Question 2. What should the supervisor do? Write your answer now. Multiple choices are not provided. In our next scenario, John, a supervisor, is walking past the workstations of his employees when he sees a swimsuit calendar taped to the wall. What should the supervisor do? A. He should immediately remove the calendar. B. He should ask the employee to remove the calendar. C. He should ignore the calendar. D. He should report the incident to his company's HR department. Choose your answer now. Patricia likes to wear attention-getting clothes at the office. Darren, a fellow employee, likes to notice and comment.
Hey, Patricia. You looking good today?
Thank you.
No, I mean, you're looking real good. I sure would like to see what else you have in your wardrobe.
Darren, I've told you before, I don't appreciate those types of comments. Please stop.
You know you love it when guys stare at you. Why else would you dress like that?
Excuse me, but I'm going to talk to Roberta.
Oh, so now you're going to talk to your supervisor about me? Patricia, you asked for this.
Roberta, you have to make Darren stop his sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment? Roberta, I didn't do anything. Look at the way she dresses. She wants guys to notice her, so that's what I did.
Okay, everybody, calm down.
Question 4. How should the supervisor respond? A. Warn Patricia that she is violating the company dress code. B. Reprimand Darren because he is sexually harassing Patricia. C. Tell Patricia and Darren to come back later when she's not busy. D. Privately ask Darren to stop his suggestive comments and privately ask Patricia to abide by the company dress code. Choose your answer now. In our final scenario, a supervisor, Kevin, is meeting with one of his employees, Janelle, who recently filed a sexual harassment complaint against a coworker on her team.
Ever since I filed the sexual harassment complaint against Vince, the team has been treating me differently.
What do you mean?
Well, it just seems like I'm getting extra work and no one wants to help me, not like they used to. And that's not all.
Oh, what else is going on?
Well, someone's been putting threatening notes on my workstation. One of them said, "You're a liar." Another one said, "He did nothing wrong. You're the one who's wrong."
Janelle, I'm sure you have nothing to worry about. Once the investigation for sexual harassment is over, I'm sure everything will go back to normal.
Question 5. Was Kevin's comment appropriate, yes or no? Write your answer now. How did you do with these questions? Let's check your answers and find out. In our first scenario, Dave rubbed Cheryl's back, even though he's been asked to stop doing it. Is Dave's behavior sexual harassment? The correct answer is yes. In this situation, Cheryl tells Dave she's not comfortable with his actions. In fact, this is not the first time she's told him this. One definition of sexual harassment is sexual attention that is unwelcome and unwanted. Dave needs to respect Cheryl's request and stop giving her back rubs. If you overhear a conversation like Dave and Cheryl's among your employees, address the situation with them. Next, you saw an employee complaining to her supervisor, asking him to make the employee stop his offensive behavior.
I don't want to file a sexual harassment complaint. I just want it to stop.
Question 2. What should the supervisor do? You are correct if you wrote that the supervisor should support Michelle and offer to help stop the harassment. The situation is already causing Michelle anguish, and it has the potential to spiral even further out of control. The supervisor should work closely with the HR department to get Gary to stop his harassment. He should also work with HR to document all the details, including dates, times, who was involved, places, what happened, and how those involved responded. In scenario 3, the supervisor notices a swimsuit calendar displayed in a high-traffic area. What did you say the supervisor should do? A. Immediately remove the calendar. B. Ask the employee to remove the calendar. C. Ignore the calendar. Or D. Report the incident to his company's HR department. The correct answer is B. The supervisor should ask the employee to remove the calendar. He should also explain why the calendar is being removed and re-emphasize the company's sexual harassment policy. Remember, such displays at the workplace are not acceptable. Don't wait for an employee to complain. This could lead to charges of sexual harassment based on a hostile environment. In our next scenario, Patricia has asked a fellow employee, Darren, to stop making suggestive comments.
Roberta, you have to make Darren stop his sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment? Roberta, I didn't do anything. Look at the way she dresses. She wants guys to notice her, so that's what I did.
How should the supervisor respond? A. Warn Patricia that she is violating the company dress code. B. Reprimand Darren because he is sexually harassing Patricia. C. Tell Patricia and Darren to come back later when she's not busy. D. Privately ask Darren to stop his suggestive comments and privately ask Patricia to abide by the company dress code. The correct answer is D. The supervisor should speak privately with Darren and Patricia. Patricia repeatedly asked Darren to stop his suggestive comments, so he needs to immediately stop the action that Patricia finds offensive. Comments such as Darren's could support a claim of a hostile work environment. Supervisors need to recognize situations such as this, where suggestive comments are being made, and take appropriate action. Assure employees who have filed claims of sexual harassment that appropriate measures have been taken to prevent harassment in the future. Incidentally, in this scenario, Patricia's supervisor may also need to do a better job of enforcing the dress code if Patricia violates company policy. In the final scenario, you saw an employee who feels she's being retaliated against because she filed a sexual harassment complaint.
Well, someone's been putting threatening notes on my workstation. One of them said, "You're a liar." Another one said, "He did nothing wrong. You're the one who's wrong."
Janelle, I'm sure you have nothing to worry about. Once the investigation for sexual harassment is over, I'm sure everything will go back to normal.
Was Kevin's comment appropriate? The correct answer is no. Kevin's comment was not appropriate. Supervisors need to guard against retaliation, whether perceived or real, against someone who files a charge of sexual harassment. Take all complaints of retaliation seriously and be sensitive to the concerns of the alleged victim.
Janelle, I'm glad you brought this to my attention. We're going to look into this and make certain that any retaliation stops immediately.
As a supervisor, you can help make your workplace a friendly and productive environment for everyone. Never tolerate sexual harassment. Take all complaints of harassment seriously and be sensitive to the concerns of the alleged victim. Work with your HR department to document all incidents. Write down relevant facts, such as dates, times, situations, witnesses, and anything else that seems relevant. Set an example in your organization by taking a stand against offensive behavior.